For those who are new, I'm Tom Garrison, and I've been developing sites for about 25 years. And my co-host Arthur Moorhead will be here, or is here, and he usually likes to take care of the chat, so you'll hear a lot of stuff from him. He's been doing this almost for 20 years, so we bring a lot of experience to you. And we're going to start at ground zero today, because there's still a lot of people who are having a difficult time trying to figure out, where do I go? What do I do? How do I start this? So I'm going to open it up, which is why I didn't mute anybody today, except for the one that had some feedback. So I want to open it up for questions, because I want to know what you feel is the best place to start, whether you have your site already built or whether you're working on a new one. And most of you already have the site. So it's like, usually you want to jump right into, okay, I just need to know, how do I get a lot of people to my site? The problem with that is that there is no answer for that question, because you got to go back and start at the beginning. Can people get into your site? And you're all looking at me like, well, of course they can. No, desktops can get into your site. Can a mobile device get into your site? Raise of hands of those who feel certain that a mobile device can get into your site. Okay, we've got 2. Really? Tammy, you have a question, or are you saying that you know that mobile devices can get into your site?
Right.
And Cindy? Okay, so there's 3. Of those who raised their hands, when was the last time that any of you did a test to see if mobile devices could get into your site?
About a month ago.
All the time. Robert, all the time? About Cindy? Yesterday. You did a test yesterday. What was your speed? Yes, Cindy? No idea. Well, then how do you know mobile devices can get into your site? Maybe I should ask it a little bit differently.
Yes.
Has anybody tested the speed of their site for mobile devices recently? Okay, good. Lindsay did. Now, what method did you use, Lindsay?
Nothing official. I just looked at it on my phone
Okay,
and on a friend's phone as well.
okay. So I'll ask this question again, but differently. And Robert, okay, you use PageSpeed Insights. How many of those who said that they can get a mobile device into their site have tested the speed? It's very simple, doesn't cost you anything but about 2 minutes. So that's where, and it's good that I'm starting here today, because if you don't have pages that load in under 3 seconds for a mobile device, we don't care about desktops. Desktops can load fast no matter what, but it's the mobile devices that Google's concerned about, and you need to be concerned about. This isn't something that web developers are saying, well, you need to have a really fast site. You can have a slow site if you want. It's Google you have to appease. And Google is saying, if mobile devices can't render that page in less than 3 seconds to be interactive, they leave. That's their statistics. And that's exactly how they're judging your site. So if you're going to say, well, then what do we use? Let's take a gander here. I can show you a test that I just did this morning on a couple of pages of my own site. And this is Lighthouse, and I'll show you how I did it in a second. There's one for 99, 96, another 96. So that's what you should be shooting for. So let's go back and go to your home page. And this is using incognito. If anybody's not familiar with that, if you've got Chrome or just install Chrome on your system, and up at the top of Chrome, you'll see the three dots. Click on the three dots and select New Incognito Window. This is not really technical, folks, so don't be afraid to do this. Once you've got the window open in incognito and you go to whatever page that you're going to test, right-click, go to Inspect, and you'll see this gobbledygook come up. The only thing you want to focus on is where it says Lighthouse. Click on Lighthouse. Make sure that mobile is selected. Do not concern yourself with desktop. It doesn't matter. And I'm also going to add, it matters even less that you've used your own phone to get into the site, because you are going to wait. You're not like the average phone user. When you go to somebody else's site, you won't wait. You're going to your site, you will wait. So it's mandatory that you test the speed of that page for mobile devices. So now we're going to analyze the page load. You select all these categories, and then navigation default, that's where you should go first. You can mess with the other settings later, but here's where you want to start. Analyze the page load time, and you're creating a report. This isn't you doing your phone, because you will never get the correct amount of time that it takes for that page to load if you're just sitting there on your phone going, well, let's see, 1001, yeah, it won't work. So if you're getting this, which is 99, 100's max, you can't get any faster. But you're probably not getting quite that much speed. The idea is that if the person on a mobile device does not have to wait that 3 seconds, they're happy and they're going to stay. So let me move this up a little bit. You can look in here. These are some numbers that you're really looking for. Even this speed index, if it gets to 2.2, that's still okay. But 2.1 and less, yeah, that's really where your aim is. Now, if you're doing it on your phone and saying, well, I tested it because I went to my website and yes, I can pull up the pages, that doesn't mean a darn thing, like I was saying before, because you need to know exactly how much time this is going to test it, and it takes away everything. PageSpeed Insights is another one that works really well, but I found that Lighthouse consistently will give you better results. Not that they're always good. They're more true results, I guess I should say. But either one of those, so PageSpeed Insights or Incognito using Chrome. And I realize I need to stop my share because I want to send across this file. That is the tools for being able to, well, actually, a lot of the things that we do as developers, you're going to find in this list of tools. And here it comes. All right, there you go. There's the list of tools that I sent across to everybody. There's a lot of information about PageSpeed Insights, using incognito, the numbers that Google has set forth, so that you're just saying, okay, so this is what Google's saying. It's not me. I'm just parroting what Google's telling you. You've got to meet those numbers in order for mobile device users to get into your pages quickly. So what's this have to do with SEO? It's pointless to do anything with your SEO if the first thing that you test, which should be the speed, if you didn't pass that test. Put off the SEO until you fix that speed. I see a lot of people thinking hard about that, making a note, but it's, the reality is you can spend thousands of dollars to have somebody optimize your pages. But if mobile devices can't get in there, it's all for naught. Anytime that you're working on a project, building a website, the number one most important thing is functionality. Everything has to work first. Excuse me. So before you worry about making everything pretty, putting up all these really nice pictures, stop and get the site functioning 100%. Do all of the links work? Do all of the navigation menus work? Make sure that everything functions as it should, including the fact that you want to make sure that the speed is next to 100 if you can. Over 90 is what you're trying to do. 90 or better. So if you can get your pages to function at 90% or better for mobile devices, now you can move forward. Questions on that so far? Because I know there should be a bunch. You guys should really be asking a bunch. 80 and above, excuse me, is acceptable. And it's questionable whether you're still kind of in that questionable area, but you can be accepted by Google if you're in the high 80s. 90s is what you should shoot for, though. Bonnie, you have a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, would you mind going over again the how to do it, how to do the testing again? Because
Yeah,
I missed some things.
yeah. Let me share my screen first so you can see, just walk through the. Let's start over here. Let's say I just throw this out. Throw away these pages so you can see me start from scratch. And if anybody wants me to do their site, just let me know. Put the link in the chat and I'll do that. Okay, so we'll go back here to Chrome. Anybody have their hand up or want to do their site? Bonnie, we're talking to her. Oh, okay, Adriana. You want to put your link in the chat and we'll do yours.
Thank you. I'm learning a lot for the from the little that you've shared.
Yeah, beginners and people who are just starting out, you're going to find, whoa, I didn't know all this stuff. And this is just the simple stuff. So you can imagine there's a lot that goes into SEO. And for us to take the time to go, don't do your SEO until you've got the functionality is critical.
I put my link on there, but I didn't put the HTTPS. Do you want me to do that?
No, I got it.
Okay.
Had to look up. There's a couple people put it in. It all works for me. Look at that. Okay. So we're in Chrome. So the first thing I want to do is go to the top right into the three buttons, three dots, and choose incognito, new incognito window. Because incognito is designed to get rid of most of the stuff that is not essential so that you can get a better idea of your speed. So it's like a stripped down version. Then we're going to paste the URL into this site. Can you see me now?
Yeah, there it is.
Okay. Sorry, everybody. The wrong screen showing. So when you do that, I'm going to see if I can do this again. Maybe you could see my pop-up. Right click. Can you see that, Arthur?
Yep.
Okay, there you go. Right click, and you just hit this last one that says inspect. And that brings up this gobbledygook. The only thing you're interested in and focused on is where it says lighthouse, right where my mouse is. Already got that now? Okay, click on that. That's all you need to do. And then make sure that it's set to navigation, mobile, don't care about desktop, and you can click all these categories. Once you've seen that, then you just analyze page load. Ready? And you sit back less than a minute, it'll gather all the information, tell you what it says, tell you what it thinks. Okay. I'm gonna move this up a little bit so we can see. So there you go. Yeah, Adriana, do not feel bad. I guarantee you that at least 50% of the people here are going, oh, hers is even better than mine. Or mine is just about right. Oh, mine is a 50. Well, 50 is still not going to get you anywhere. 60 is not going to get you much of anywhere. Even 70. Jody's yelling at me with her mic off, so that's okay. So Bonnie, do you see how you do that now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And John, did you have another question, Bonnie?
No.
Okay. Johnetta, you had a question, is that correct?
No, you answered it. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
You can do
I
my
was
website.
wondering, I was
I put it in the chat.
Johnetta Bell. Got your hand up, so I thought maybe you needed. Can only see or share your desktop. Marinella, what was that? I didn't catch your statement there, Marinella. Okay, nothing?
Nothing, don't worry about it.
Oh, okay, okay. That was before, you mean? Okay, Adriana, you're back.
The question, so obviously the performance doesn't look very appealing on my end. I mean, I guess okay. I'm just wondering what this means. If I have, you know, 3 areas that are great and then 1 that's lacking.
And it's the most important one. The 3 areas that are great, the 91, don't get excited about that because all that means is the function, the technical side of SEO is good. That does not mean the visual part of SEO, which are your keywords and how the content is written and all that sort of thing. What we understand and what you want to understand about SEO is not what this is referring to. This is about, does it function correctly? Yes. That doesn't mean it's good SEO. Does that make sense?
It does.
Sort of.
Yes, sort of.
The bottom line, don't worry about this number. That's not talking about how well that you have put your keywords and your text together on the page. That's not what that number is about.
Yeah, that's just some basic technical SEO, like link titles, clickable links, things like
Name
that.
tags.
Yeah.
So it's just the technical stuff that you go, well, I didn't even worry about that. Yeah, well, yeah, okay. Usually your template is going to do most of that for you. Best practices, again, that has to do with the template that you're using, but you can also improve that. Accessibility is are you using your alt tags properly? Have you described what's on the page well enough so that a reader, people who've got disabilities and use a reader to read the page to them, it's done pretty well because you got a 94. But as far as the performance, mobile devices can't get in here. Or I should say that differently. If you had a lot of really nice people on mobile devices who went, that's okay, I'll wait the 15 or 20 seconds for it, then that's fine. They're looking at about 9 seconds to be able to get into that page. That's 3 times what what Google is giving them. That their test that Google's done, they say that 3 seconds is about all a mobile device user is going to wait. Now, the why is the next step for you, Adriana. And as any of the people who come to our meetings know, the number one thing that is problematic for any website, or what she's got a ton of, images. So when you're looking at functionality and you're going, well, it's really slow. Okay, then you have to go back and look at how the page was set up. How many images and how large are the images? They are the number one reason for slow pages. So when you have a really slow page, focus on going down to, okay, what am I, if you have a large image, you want to decrease the size, but you also want to optimize that image. And if you haven't done that, if you're kind of scratching your head going, no, I don't know what you mean. Well, that's now the problem, is images and whether or not they are sized for what you need and whether or not they are optimized. Optimization, even if you don't know exactly what the term is, just there are free things in the list of tools that I sent through. There are at least 2 different places where you can optimize your images for free. Send those images up there. They get reduced as far as compression and optimization and spit back to you in seconds, literally. And you can download that and be done. And you can even do a batch with these things. You can send up a batch of like 20 images to these sites, and they'll do that whole batch in less than a minute. And what you get back is an image that's half the information, sometimes depends on the image, than it was when you started. That means it's much, much lighter to load. But I'm going to switch browsers because in Firefox, I've got a little handy dandy, and if anybody likes Firefox, I suggest that you use it a lot more. It's my go-to. So here's Firefox, and I can get my screen out of the way here. Oh, let's see here. Go here first, get this down. All right, so now we're back to letting me look at Firefox. When you're on Firefox, hopefully everybody can see my screen now. Just if you see page info, that's what you're looking for. Brings up another window. Now I'm going to show you this window. I know I have to get a different share in order to do that. And here's the little window that comes up. And I go directly to media in this tab. Can everybody see what I'm doing? Arthur, can you see this?
Yep.
Okay. So we're on the same page, Adriana, and now we're going through and I'm looking at your images. Here's the first one I come across, which is 1920 by 1080. That's your background image. Okay, got that. Now we're looking at these images. Okay, here's the first problem that you have. This image, this before and after, is scaled to 459 square. It was originally 1080. The browser doesn't cut off anything. It's just going to show this particular area. But the browser has to stop and look at the original size of the image so it knows how much space to render. And you've got something that's in there more than 2 sizes, more than twice the size of the size that's necessary for this area. So 1080, and it's been reduced to 459. that's a big problem because now you've got how many images that have done the same thing? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 just in the top area of the page. Just in that slider. It seemed like there was even more, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, there's 6 images. And those 6 images are all double, more than double the size that they need to be for where they are displayed. So for the newbies that haven't heard me jump up and down about this, I'm going to do it now. So first I'm going to go back over and share just Firefox. Okay, so when you upload an image, know the size that you need for that area. And if you don't know the size that you need for that area, you could use Firefox to give you that. Or you can just say, you know what? You don't want these gigantic images on a page anywhere. Leave the big images for a pop-up. So if somebody clicks on a thumbnail, they can get that larger image. But the larger the images are that you're pasting on a page, the fewer you should have, but most people will put a lot of them on one page. You followed those 6 images that are double the size by a video, and it's a huge video. That's another thing. It's going to take a lot of time to load that video into the page. One more image, it's pretty good size. Again, I would use smaller images and let people pop them up. They're on a phone, they're on a cell phone. So if you have a device, trying to get Arthur off of my screen here. This image would be better off, and you have to design for mobile devices. That's what Google keeps trying to tell everybody. It's nice that you have a desktop and you can see all these huge pictures, but that's not who's coming to your site. More than 70% of the searches done in Google are mobile devices. So if you're designing for, and that actually equates, it's not 30% for desktop, they're still in the teens, maybe in the low 20s at best. So if you're designing for 20% of the business that you could get, that seems a little counterproductive. Design for the masses. Where's the media button? Okay, so I'll go back to that. In Firefox, when you are viewing a site, you click on page info. I'll show you that here. Let me share this again so that people have this down. So in Firefox, you go up to Tools, click on Tools, go to Page Info. Once you click on Page Info, you'll get this little pop-up that looks like this. And then there are 4 icons. You're going to choose the second one, which is Media. That shows you all the images on the page that you're viewing right at the moment. And let's see. Ooh, wow, this is a huge picture. That's 2557 by 2560. And yet you're showing a very small portion of that. So the image that is just below the video, that image is literally larger than my screen is wide, much larger. So you definitely want to resize that one. Trying to think of a good size, and to tell you the truth, if you're down somewhere around 500, 600, that's going to keep it fairly small, but you can always make it a link so that when you click on it, it opens up, it pops up a large image if somebody wants to see that. And of course, again, you're on a mobile device, so you're looking at a really tiny area. That 2,500 pixels size image, it's going to take up a tremendous amount of area. Let me get back over here to page. So even though, I mean, it's a nice image, and I get why you want to show that, but you have to think about how fast can people get into the site. So I'm not picking on this site in particular, because if you look at this page, I would bet that most of the people here today are going, yeah, don't look at mine, because you may have similar problems. And if that's the case, don't think that I'm picking on this person at all. All we're doing is looking at what's the problem, what's going on with the page loading so slowly. Now, I mentioned already, and I've hammered on the fact that images are too big on this page. The other thing is that there are a lot of images on this page, and a lot of images way too big. Yes, that's normal for, let's create it for a desktop. But let's take a look at what it looks like on a mobile device. So the things do get smaller, but you can see that's a lot. And even though this loads fast, it's still basically a desktop. This isn't really what a mobile device, how fast the mobile device is going to load this. And there's another video down here. So it's a second video, a lot of very large images. So unfortunately, in my opinion, I don't know, you can take it to the bank or you can throw it out the window. I would back up and reconsider, seriously reconsider how you could make the design so that it's using small images that look nice so that the page loads fast. You could have all these same images on here, but if you laid it out so that they were more of a, let me do this, more of a gallery. So in a gallery, you have an image, just a small one, maybe 100 by 100 pixels. That's great. You can see whatever that is in that small one. Mobile devices or desktop, you can hit it, click on it, and it will open up another window that you can see these full-size images. And we don't care about the size or the speed of that window that opens up. That's a secondary window. The person's already in the site. The mobile device is already in the site. And those usually load pretty quick anyway, even though they are large. But you have it in another window that opens to show those full-size images. Even with the video, you can have an image, a small image that shows this is a video, and I'd use a picture rather than just a black screen. But you can have a small image that is obviously a video, and then underneath it you can say play video or whatever you want to identify it, and that pops open another pop-up so you can watch the video.
Oh.
That's another way to load the page really fast so that the video is not necessarily on the page, but people can get to it very quickly. And the same thing with any of these other images.
She's using Beaver Builder, and usually with that element, there is a cover image that you could add for that video. It's similar to what Elementor can do. And if you have that cover image, then Lighthouse is not going to pick up the video, it'll pick up the image, and that'll speed up your page speed.
Did you
And
catch that?
the other thing is to pull that slider out of the hero section. Because that hero section, those images are so large. That's the first thing that Google's going to try and load. And because those images are so large, you need to pull that out of above the fold, it's called, and replace it with the hero.
I really appreciate this feedback. I do have a question related to that. So obviously for someone like me in my profession, that this is something that will for people who are looking for something like this are gonna wanna home in on. Does that mean that I have to get rid of the carousel? Because one of
No.
the things that I'd hoped to do was to have that as, where people wouldn't have to search for, say, something like this.
No, you don't have to get rid of it, just get it, because right now you have it in the, what's called, the first thing you see on a website when you load it is called the hero section. And you want that section to load as fast as possible. So anytime you put carousels, images, lazy loading and videos and things like that, it slows down the page speed. So basically move that out of the hero section and move it down. So it isn't the first thing you see up. Your hero section should be a call to action. It should be something that people see right away that solves the problem. You know, that's where you want to get the attention. You know, when you put sliders and all this up in there, you know, then it's basically all it's doing is slowing down the website. Unless you have the right tool to optimize it. And I looked at your sources and it looks like you don't have a caching plugin. And because in the page speed results, you have your images are not saved in WebP format. So some caching plugins will convert those into WebP. And 37.35 seconds is what it's taking for those images to load completely. You know, even though they show up fast when you first see them, it's the first initial visit when people come to your website that's important. Once they come to your website and it gets cached, then it'll load faster the second time. Well, for that very first instant. So if you move that below, there's a plugin that's called WP Rocket. It's a very nice plugin. And it kind of works out of the box. There's some basic settings that you can use. And if you use that plugin along with what you have, you'll see a dramatic difference. It's a little pricey, but you know, all the others that I have used, there's too much for the novice. There's too many settings that has to be done. WP Rocket, along with a image plugin, either Short Pixel or Imagify, that will take care of a lot of the problem. But you still have to work on the images. I mean, in the future, you know, just don't take an image straight from your camera of 2000 by 3000 pixels and upload it to your website.
This is helpful. Thank you. I'm eating my humble pie. Thank you.
Well, Sandra, or Adriana, don't be too harsh on yourself, because a lot of people are being really quiet going, I don't want to see my site either. But this is stuff that you do have to go through. Sandra, I did actually pull yours up. So I'll share what's going on here. And there you are, Sandra. You got a 61. Let's see, where's Sandra in the list? There you are. Any
Scroll
questions
down and
about
see.
this, Sandra?
And scroll down to see what the report says.
I'm not sure if there's another Sandra, but this isn't my site.
No, just you. You're the only one. Did you see what you needed to, Arthur?
Scroll down, doesn't it give you the, there it is. Flow server is one problem.
Who do you host with, Sandra?
Are you still talking to me? Because this isn't my site. I'm sorry. I'm
Oh.
not sure if there's another Sandra on the call.
I sure thought there was.
It's tazadelis.com.
Elva 8. Who's Elva 8? Back and look here.
Looks like it's Janetta.
Was it Janetta? Trying to go through the chat to see who posted that. I thought sure it was. Oh, Janetta. Okay. That's mine. Okay, gotcha. Janetta, sorry for that. Sorry for the confusion. And so let's see, Janetta.
He says it's SiteGround.
Trying to find you in the list of people. Hard to find. SiteGround, is that who you said, or she said that is hosting her?
Janetta did, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You know, when we talk about functionality and the speed of a site, your hosting provider has a lot to do with that. So if you're on and I'm not going to mince words here, if you're on a cheap server because it's very cheap hosting, you get what you pay for. And the companies that really have low prices are also on low quality hardware. So their servers are not that fast. They don't care because they're making money for people who are just paying them on the cheap. And that's the way a lot of companies are. There are two companies for everybody, and even those who have heard us say it quite a bit. Arthur and I have two companies that we recommend, and only two companies. A2hosting.com and greengeeks.com. That's it. If you're hosting with somebody else, okay, that's up to you. But if you're looking to make sure that your site does not have to worry about the hosting company and that the hosting company is as best as it can be, then move to one of those two. Get that part out of the equation so you don't have to fight that also. I know that there are still some things coming up in chat. Oh, Green Geeks, like me and Arthur.
Yeah, it should be in that file you posted.
Yeah.
Tools.
Also, make sure that that file that I sent through, go through it. You don't have to know all the technical things, but there are tools in there, including the two hosting companies we recommend, and the tools that we use constantly, especially today, what I've shown you so far. Those links are in there. Yeah, we could put that here. There you go, Green Geeks and A2 Hosting. And GoDaddy is a hosting company, Sandra. But they weren't in our two of the list. So
So are they not good? This is who I've had for about 4 years now.
Well, that's with SiteGround, that's kind of a loaded question because they have.
she's asking about GoDaddy.
Huh?
She's asking about GoDaddy.
Oh, GoDaddy?
Yeah.
No. I don't recommend
I
GoDaddy for
see.
anybody.
We both drag our feet going, I don't want to say it, but no.
Really?
Yeah. I've been battling with GoDaddy since '99. They drive me crazy. They do not have the fastest servers and they do not have the best prices. They do give you cheap prices, but they make up for it because they go, oh, well, this will cost you more. But if you're on another platform that's pretty much the same amount for hosting, it's all the free stuff. GoDaddy, well, you pay for this and you pay for that. It's like they give you, what's that called? Where you give just the basics and that's it. Everything else is, you got to pay for that extra. So, and of course, as you're starting out, the GoDaddy it's not a fast server in the first place. Um,
the
just to give
biggest-
you a case in point, I believe that they charge close to $20 a year for registering a domain. And if you want the contact privacy on there, it's another 20 some odd bucks. Well, then that's over $40 a year for. Why?
I have a
What-
question. So what's the easiest way to switch hosting? Because, I mean, they have everything. GoDaddy right now, so like, I don't know what everybody else is doing. But if you want to move over, like, what does it take? Do they have support to do that? Because I wouldn't know how to, first thing about switching like that.
Green Geeks and A2 both do it for free. You purchase the hosting plan and they ask you, where are you hosting? Do you want us to move the site? And you say, yep, yes, please. And I'm going to bring somebody online who can tell you how simple it is because he's done it. Kevin, would you like to tell everybody? Did you have to do anything?
Well, you don't remember correctly, my friend. When my website was rebuilt, it was resent there, away from GoDaddy, which was a major upkick.
Yeah. But at least you didn't have to move it yourself. It was just there.
No, you're right. Most of these companies, they'd be happy to move it for you.
Yep.
And little to no problems. Yeah.
And I do see somebody asking about the video. I'll touch on that real quickly. SEO-Tom in YouTube. You can find my channel there. And it's in the group. That there's a link to it at the top of the group in the welcome thing, welcome area. But YouTube SEO-Tom, that's where I am. And that's where all of the recordings go after I get them edited and posted. Sorry, Kevin, you were just gonna say something else?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
The biggest issue with GoDaddy here recently I've had is they have switched from their email from Workspace to their version of Microsoft 365. And if you are paying for the email service for your website, you got to pay special attention to that because it is not easy to migrate that to a new host. You know, there's Kevin, you probably went through that, right?
That was
And,
the major hiccup we had. Yes.
yeah. I mean, there's no option to save your address book or any of that. And basically the best way to do that is to contact Microsoft if you're going to use Outlook. They're the ones that they even have trouble trying to do it. You know, and the reason why GoDaddy does that is to make it difficult for you to move. So if you're using any email service with GoDaddy, that's your biggest issue that you're going to have when it comes to migration. If they ask you to use their version of 365, I would highly recommend not to and use host your own.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I wanted to add to what Rob and you were saying and Arthur as well. I also have been having a hard time dealing with the clients who are using GoDaddy and moving them to Green Geeks. I just moved a couple of clients in the last 2 weeks, and I can tell you that the number one thing that people on this call who don't know how to, who are on GoDaddy, the first issue is that it's usually locked down, and Green Geeks will ask you to remove the lock, and it's not easy to get to it. It's not intuitive. So, and the second issue was Green Geeks asked to change the name servers. They said we can transfer the website, but you need to change the name servers. And again, that's not something that a newbie would know how to do. So those are the two issues that I can foresee that might prevent people from doing a smooth transfer.
Arthur would know better than I. I'm not familiar. Does Green Geeks do they offer Office 365, Arthur?
No,
Okay,
no, they have, any email that you have set up a Green Geeks, it's all, oh, you can have Microsoft, you can have, Gmail, you can have anything, but they don't actually offer a email host system, like you can have email, but it's not like what GoDaddy does at all.
it sounds like they are like A2. For anybody who's got Office 365 or is using Outlook, any of that kind of stuff, I already know for a fact that A2 has it all set up on the server and it doesn't cost you any more than the standard hosting plan. So if you got Office 365, don't worry about it. They'll move you over. They'll take care of it. The reason I know that is because I've got at least one other client who's got Office 365 and we set it up and she has full control over it. And I'm on the C panel here because I want to show you how simple it is to handle your email once you've moved to a quality hosting company. This is on A2 hosting. You log into your C panel, you can create any account or as many accounts as you want. You can create forwards. And it's not rocket science. You just read for a couple of seconds, go, oh, I just do this and this. Yep. And if you want to get into your specific email account and say, well, I want to connect this particular one, you have Outlook, iOS, Thunderbird, whichever one that you want, and you can download. When you click on it, it asks you if you're on the device that you want the email set up on. You click on that link and it's going to set up your email for you. So there isn't a lot of stuff. If you have Office 365, you can still use A2 and they're not charging you anything more than anything else. They have figured out how to make their system work with Office 365 and not have it be any more complicated than standard email. So you can do it either way, Office 365 or not. And you can set up whatever email account that you want, and you can do it just with IMAP, with a POP, Office 365, whatever it is. You'll be able to do it by just making the connections here.
And you can do that.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, most cPanels have that. And GoDaddy does have cPanel, and you are able to do that.
But you have to
But
pay
what
extra.
What GoDaddy has, they have their own version
Yeah,
of 365, and you don't have that kind of control. So that's what makes it difficult. You can't just move the email to A2 if you're using their version of 365. You need, like Rob was saying, you need an IT person to be able to handle that. I don't handle it no more because it just takes an enormous amount of time. And it'd be unfair to my clients to have to charge them for that time. Using Office 365 or Microsoft and they want to use it and they're moving from GoDaddy, I always suggest them to contact Microsoft and have them help them.
there are several ways that you can go about it. You can have them contact Microsoft, but if you're going to move to A2, just tell them what you've got. They're very familiar with being able to pull that thing over. This particular account that I'm into right now, America DR, they're using Office 365 and she does her own email. She sets up her own email addresses and forwards. And it's all Office 365.
But
That's
like,
all we use is Outlook.
but like Green Geeks A2 is not going to be able to migrate their version of 365. They'll be able to migrate your website and all the cPanel and how the emails are run that way. But as far as 360 GoDaddy's version of 365, they can't migrate that. Contact Microsoft is what my clients have been doing. And they help them retain their address books and all that stuff. It's weird how they have it set up. You know, I mean, the C panel is the C panel and everything will move over. If you're using Microsoft,
Come on,
the Microsoft license.
fucking hell, what's this all
But if you're
about?
using their version of 365, then you're gonna have problems.
We've pretty well come to the end of this particular session. Any other questions? Kevin had to go. Any other questions? I'm sure that your eyes are kind of rolling back in your head, but I tried to just keep it this little part of functionality and moving to A2. If you have more questions about A2, you can feel free to give them a call. I have no problem answering whatever questions you've got. Same thing with Green Geeks. Call them, say, I've
Yeah,
got
just-
this and that, and here's what I want to do. And they
Yeah,
can
all you really have,
about how it'll happen.
yeah, all you really have to do is let them know that you want to migrate from GoDaddy and just let them know that you're using their version of Microsoft 365.
I'm going to address this one question I just happened to see here in chat. What are your thoughts on Squarespace? Don't do it. So that was from Lindsay. And I can tell you that we just got finished talking about GoDaddy and the things that they do, the tricks, the nasty tricks that they pull to make sure that you don't move and that you have to pay more for this and then add that stuff, which should just all be included. Well, Wix, Weebly, Squarespace, they all do the same thing. They've got their method of doing things so that you can't move away. And that's one of the biggest things. When you're into one of those build-a-sites, including GoDaddy, they don't allow you to just take that and go someplace else. It's theirs. So if you're in a build-a-site, you're going to have to recreate your site if you move. And I would highly recommend that you don't use it if you're not using it now, because you get into that kind of a problem. And there have been a lot of people who've moved away because they've had problems. There isn't anything that you can do other than redevelop the site if you are with them and you decide that you want to go.
You can't really, I mean, you'll end up outgrowing them. And the analogy I like to see with WordPress, you own it. You can move it anywhere you want.
Mhm.
It's open source. There's nobody restricting anything that you can do with it. With Squarespace, Wix, and all the others, you're limited to their product, proprietary product.
Mhm.
And you don't own the website. You own the content, but you don't own the website. So an analogy I like to say is like you use, if you're renting a house, would you pay to put a new roof on that house? Of course not. You know, now, if you own a house, of course, you're going to put a new roof on it and you can expand it. You can add additions, you can do all that. Well, on these build-a-sites, you're restricted. You can't. You know, I mean, you can add pages and things like that, but there's a lot of functionality that you can't do.
Mhm.
The SEO is usually not the best. You know, so I mean, it's a good place to start if you want to start out small, but eventually you're going to have to move.
I'll put one more plug in that we haven't plugged for a long time. If you're looking for something that is cheap and or free, and you're just trying to get your feet wet on something, even if you can't take it with you, Milkshake. And I'm not talking about lunch. See, Arthur even forgot about it. Oh yeah. It's stupid simple. It's designed for mobile devices. They have, when we last checked, which is several months ago, over 3 million backlinks to their site. They're all about social media, spreading the word. They do a lot of marketing and they're specific to mobile devices, but desktops can get into it too. So If you're looking for something that's dirt cheap, or you just want to test something out because you haven't built a site, you're not sure if you want to, go throw it up in Milkshake.
Actually, you can get it for free.
Yeah,
You can have 5, what is it? I think it's up to 5 different counts, or 5
Five.
different listings.
5 different
Yeah, for
listings.
free.
Each one of them is like 3 or 5 pages. So I would highly recommend them. And that was somebody who joined our meeting once and told us about how he was in there, and we thought, wow, that's a really good idea. If you don't know what you're doing, you
He's
just want to do
killing it.
something for free and see if it works. It does. It works great. Any other questions before we go? Quiet audience today, but I think you guys were learning a lot. Everybody's quiet except Jody. So there you go, folks. I'll get this.
Sorry,
thing-
one last thing. I know, I just put it in the chat, but, this is Sandra. I wanted to just reach out to you privately because I have a few
Yes.
questions and I know it's hard. I don't want to take up everybody's time. Regarding like the performance on mine is about 40%. Everything else is like 90 to 100, like even SEO. So it's mostly, it sounds like images and video. And besides, I guess I don't know, take every single image and resize it to small and reload it. Is that kind of?
Sort of. I mean, get in touch with me after the meeting, and yeah, I can go over some more specifics for you.
Great. What's a good email for your phone?
But you can just grab, I'm all over the place. Go to the group and just click on the connect button.
In the chat, or I don't know how to
In
use this. thing.
the group, in the in Alignable, on the group page.
Oh, yeah.
If you see my image, just click on the connect.
Okay,
That's the easiest
Great.
way. That way we have messages back and forth and at will.
thank you.
You betcha.
Have a good one.
Have
You
your
take it
email
easy.
in the chat.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for being with us. You are so helpful. Except for when I leave, my brain is always on fire. There's smoke coming out of my ears. You just can't see it.
Actually, we can't.
Oh, no.
That's the scary part.
I know, right? Who knew? Anyway, I have a question for you, Tom. I'm going to reach out to you. It's not
Okay.
this class, but it's just a quick question that I'm working on something, so I want to run it by you. So
Okay.
I'll reach out through Alignable.
Okay, that sounds good. Thanks.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon.
All right,
Thanks.
see you later.
Thanks, Arthur. See you guys later.
Bye. Thanks,
Bye.
Maradella.